Opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of Vegas Allnet Radio, its affiliates, or its parent company.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Vegas Allnet Radio. Good evening, Las Vegas, and good evening to the world. It's Wednesday night, which means it's time to grind. That means it's time for the American Mind Grind. Without any further ado, here are your hosts, Eric, Jeff, and Matt.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Wednesday, September 9th. You're about to witness the American Mind Grind, a controversial show that covers topics of all size, shape, and color. Please be advised, this show will make your brain hurt. If you have a faint heart or weak liver, it is suggested you consult a physician before participating. Others may consider a glass of water and 2 Advil to help lower your blood pressure. You will have to think, and your mind will get addicted to our program. We bring it to you straight and do not duck any of the issues. Although it may hurt, the show is good for you. We all must be aware of our surroundings and understand what is happening in this crazy world that we live in. Remember, comments to this show are that of opinion only. We are not professionals and will not be held responsible for the stupid things you might do after listening to the show. Eric, Matt, welcome back.
How are you guys?
Good. Had a good week. You guys have good weeks?
Yeah, we had a great week. How about yourself?
It was good. I've made a couple nickels this week. I did the 2-year anniversry thing with the wife. So
congratulations,
cool.
bro.
Yeah,
yep.
It was real fun.
Congratulations. That's a big deal these days, 2 years.
You know what the best part is? It only felt like 5 minutes. Underwater.
Waterboard.
What did they say? What's the second anniversary? Is cotton, isn't it? Cotton?
Cotton, yeah.
So what, did that play a part, or
You
not
know what?
this time?
I went with extra absorbent tampons, Q-tips, and cotton balls. And
So you got plenty of cotton around the house.
she did not like that whatsoever. I thought it was great. I was like, I love Q-tips.
Oh, man, that's great.
Well, that sounds like a good week.
We had a lot of stuff going on. The show, we're getting so much input from you guys, and the stories are so sensational, you know what I mean? And quite frankly, we wish we had time to do all of them. But this particular show, we've been getting stories that are national in scale and scope, but they all originated in Las Vegas. So the boys and I got together and we were like, you know what, we're going to name this episode Viva Las Vegas, do a show specifically about all the stories that are national, that originated here in town. And one thing that I want people to know, specifically the people that don't live in Las Vegas to know, is that even though Vegas has got 2 million people here, and when I moved here in 1992, there was only 400,000 people here, you know, a small town. But it still's got that small town feel. And a lot of us know each other. And a couple of the stories that we're going to talk about tonight that are really big stories, we actually have people and anonymous contacts that have contributed to the show. And we've actually have mutual friends that are involved with some of these stories. And it's kind of cool, you know, that it all came about this week.
Yeah. Vegas it's a special place for sure. So how was your week? How did it all turn out? Anything fun and exciting?
Well, number one thing is that I would like to shout out to everyone up in Boise because I watched the whole Boise State game.
Boise State.
They took out Coach Pete,
Welcome home, Coach Pete.
Yeah,
First
no,
loss.
I'm a little worried about Coach Pete just because Coach Hawkins. When you leave Boise State for greener pastures, sometimes you fall flat on your face. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, there's a jinx.
I
They
wish
keep
him the
winning.
best of luck up there in Washington. I hope he's successful there. And Boise State, to me, it's not a stepping stone job. It's a dream job to begin with, and they're going to find the right person. They're going to stay there for the duration of their career, and they'll be smart to do so.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's a classy place, and Coach Pete's a classy guy too. I mean, he left for money, whatever. But if you saw at the end of the game, did you see the clip where he shakes hands with every single player?
Great sportsmanship. Everyone in Boise, kudos to that. It wasn't necessary to rise him. He had a wonderful time in Boise. He still loves Boise. His heart's there. And it was just great sportsmanship. And it was just it's a testament to how classy they are up there. And their fans and their fan base is just wonderful.
Yeah, proud to be from Boise State up north.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So I had a good week. I went to Chevelle, as you knew. I was going Friday to the concert, and then left that concert a little early so we could catch Primus at the end of that concert.
Jesus.
All
How
over
was
the
Primus?
place. Primus was good. I only got to see the tail end of it, but they were good. They were not as good as the next day. Saturday, we went to Incubus, and
Sweet for that.
I was up in
Yeah.
the suite, the VIP suite, center stage, looking right down on them, and we partied in the suite with some of the cocktail waitresses after, so I was unable to get your T-shirt.
That's
Sorry
okay.
about that. By the time I got down there, they had a little gate locked up on it. You could tell they were getting ready to set up for the next morning, 'cause I guess they were there again the next day. But I didn't understand many of the lyrics, but good band and
Oh, they're a talented bunch.
oh man, they rocked the whole time. It was pretty cool. And then Sunday we went to rehab, and Nelly was at rehab, so we had a cabana there and met some cool people, got some new friends, some new listeners for the show.
That's
so.
incredible, man. Chevelle, Primus, Incubus, and Nelly
Yeah.
in a 2-day period.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I know you, and you've got a lot of friends in town. I would have to. I suspect you didn't pay very much for these tickets, right?
No, we just had to tip.
Just had to tip the girls.
Tip the girls. We didn't have to pay for the tickets or the alcohol. We're spoiled here. That's the thing about Vegas is,
Yep.
I mean, you can live the life. Like you said, we're all connected. We all know somebody somewhere.
That's right.
And, if you don't take advantage of your comps and you just take them every now and then, you can live the life of
Yeah.
10 men in a week.
Like a superstar life. You know what I mean? It's really cool.
But, this is my 20-year anniversary here this year.
I realize that.
20 years I've been here, so it's never a dull moment. I often think, what would I be like moving somewhere else or living somewhere else, and I just can't ever picture myself full-time moving somewhere else and not living, at least having a house in Las Vegas,
Yep.
We're spoiled here. People like to complain.
I used to say all the time, man, you want to come out here, like if you're coming to visit, folks from Jersey or New York or Boise or whatever, I used to say, come in September, October. Well, that's out. Okay, because this month is hot, man. I mean, hot. In
And
the past,
humid.
Oh my god.
yeah, where's the
dude.
humidity? Every year it gets a little more humid.
Remember last week I said I was like, oh man, we're under 100 degrees. Amen. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then boom, bro, we got another hitter, and it's going to go all week. We're about mid 105. For the entire rest of the week. So
Yeah, usually September we start seeing a downfall, and it's just
90 at this point, 85, 90 would be really super nice. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it'll get there. It'll be there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Something to look forward to. And of course, we have football coming up this Thursday night. Real excited about that. Of course.
Yeah, and we've got what else is going on in town? Mayweather's coming. It's his last fight? Is that?
Well,
fight.
yes, that is correct. It's his 49th fight. Mayweather, for those of you who don't know, he lives here in a place called Southern Highlands, here in town. It's kind of an exclusive, affluent neighborhood, It's his 49th fight. They say it's going to end his career. It's against a guy named Berto, and Berto is, in his last 6 fights,
3-3.
he's 3-3. So
3-3. His overall record is 30 wins, 3 losses, 23 knockouts.
But the 3 losses are recent.
Recent in the last 6 fights.
Did he-
He's
who did he
31
lose?
years old, so he's pretty old for a boxer,
Did he lose to anybody good, or is this guy going to be a lay down?
No, I think he's going to get. It's your last fight of your career. For Floyd, why wouldn't you just go 50-0 and call it a day, man?
I agree.
Why the
think of the
49?
marketing aspect of it. Like 50 fights is just huge. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like 50-0, retire, done deal. No one can beat me ever. I mean, he's a boring fighter. At the end of the day,
Maybe he's saving number 50 for Ronda Rousey.
that would be
Could
the fight of the century.
I would
dude.
pay whatever to watch that.
Everyone
Pay
would
the whole purse to domestic violence.
Ronda
victims.
kick his ass, dude.
She would.
I think Ronda would take him
In the
down,
octagon,
dude.
though, you can't put her in a ring.
No.
Oh no,
no,
that's
her
totally
turf.
agreed. Yeah.
He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't fight her. He's not stupid. She'd kill him.
How embarrassing. The champ would get his ass
Yeah,
kicked.
yeah. Why would he do it? That's like playing Boise State.
Yeah, but Ronda Rousey's breaking all kinds of rules as far as that goes. I mean, she's an absolute superstar. Yeah, man, I wouldn't want to run into her and
What was the
have
last
her.
fight? 36 seconds or something like that?
Yeah, and that was long. That
Yeah.
was a long one. Incredible, man. She's a superstar. Absolute superstar.
I would love to see her pound Mayweather, though. That would be just awesome.
Oh, I
Awesome,
think
awesome,
I
awesome.
think so. And the thing with Mayweather, it's like we don't know if being a local, I don't know if we like really embrace him or if we are ashamed of him. He's had a long list of really bad situations. In 2009, he was involved with a shooting at a Crystal Palace skating club here in town. He, from what I understand, he had one of his staff members go and he shot at a BMW, 6 rounds into a BMW, didn't hit any of the people that were involved with this. But, that among other things, including like a domestic violence against his baby's mom, who was his girlfriend at the time. Her name was Josie Harris. I'm talking about fist punching, and he broke her arm and so on and so forth for dating another man named C.J. Watson who plays in the NBA. So, and then the flip side of that is that he does a lot of good things too. Number one, all of his fights are here in town and generates a tremendous hundreds of millions of dollars over his career.
Just
you know
for
what I
the
mean?
sports book, alone, if you just look at that number, it's astronomical.
Absolutely.
Astronomical.
And he has foundations like the Floyd Mayweather Foundation and stuff like that. So I really have never really got a real good perspective on how I feel about him. He's a great champion, no question about it. I mean, he's not the funnest guy to watch in the ring, but he is strategically, he is a wonderful, wonderful boxer. Amazing, actually.
Good fighters usually are boring to watch in the ring
Yep.
because defense in every sport, and your defense is what wins the game. And in boxing, if you're in a boxing match, the idea is to hit him more than you get hit. So if you're winning point wise, your objective now becomes just stay away, don't get hit.
That's right.
It's boring. People want to see people stand toe to toe and go for it.
That's not the game.
It's not the game.
I
That's
think
not the
this
game.
is the final fight for boxing. I think boxing is totally dead after this.
I'm afraid you're right.
I think
No,
so.
that's not the case at all,
The
man.
heavyweights got
the
to go.
No,
heavyweight.
we've
Yeah,
got
yeah.
a United States champion named Deontay Wilder, who is a Olympic bronze medalist from Beijing. He just took one of the 4 titles, one of the major titles. I actually saw him take the title at the MGM Grand over the winter. He's an Olympic athlete. He's 6'7". He's 225 pounds. Sonny knows what I'm talking about.
Wow,
My
he's a
friend Sonny and I
beast.
have been watching his whole career.
But how many other people know?
Yeah, a lot of people.
If I
bro.
walk down the street,
if you
and
go to
and
YouTube,
when Mike Tyson was champion, if I went up to any girl on the street or any guy on the street and said, "Hey, who's Mike Tyson?" They'll know. This guy, how many people are gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I totally know who that guy is."
he's young. He's still working his
Well,
way up
I
into
think to
that.
Matt's point is that until he's big and he's rivaling somebody else who's big,
He's
they're
gonna
in
have to
trouble.
knock out Klitschko to even get any
Right.
kind of
Well, that's the
recognition,
fight.
you
That's
know,
the fight. It's a year
so-
away, but there's a lot of great heavyweights right now, and there's been renewed energy in the heavyweight division. Actually, more interest in it than there has been in about 20 years.
Good.
you know?
They're gonna need it after.
Yeah,
Mayweather.
when Mayweather goes, there's really no marquee fights. You know what I mean, as far as that goes.
I know girls that say that he has a ranch, Mayweather, that has a ranch where he gives girls $30,000 to come and live there like for a year or 6 months or however long, and whenever he comes home, he gets to have his way, and when he's done with her, he sends her back to her home or whatever. But $30,000.
Is that
He
right?
has a ranch of women that, allegedly. I personally know girls that have been approached by him for that
For
reason.
recruitment?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Is this ranch out in Pahrump? Because this sounds a little bit like prostitution to me.
It's how can you see it any other way?
The chicken ranch?
Did you
I mean,
guys
it
see?
is.
Did you guys see the video? Listen, if you're whoever's listening out there, guys, go to YouTube and check out Floyd Mayweather with the security guard at his house, and it will pop up right away. If you have not seen the video of him calling this guy a M fucker, he does it like 400 times in like
He
a
bleeps
5-minute
mother.
video.
He can't say
Great sensory.
mother effer.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
is what he was looking for.
He calls him everything. He's like, let me into my house, this and that. It is absolutely sensational video. If you haven't seen it, take 5 minutes out of your life. It's definitely a good watch. Check that out for sure. He is a interesting character at the very least. Would you agree?
Oh yeah. But having all that been said, he's a good boxer. That's what we pay him for, to watch. Like, for everyone who wants to get all upset and say, hey, we shouldn't worship this guy and blah blah blah, and I agree. I would never, if I had kids, I would never be like, hey, that's your role model, that's who you want to pattern your life after. if I was raising my kid to be a boxer, I'd be like, watch him and study him and do everything he does.
Yep.
And this country's so starstruck, it drives me nuts. It always has. Pro athletes should not be the role models raising your children. Use them as an example to tell your children how not to be. Don't just say, oh, well, my kids are this way or that way because their hero did this or that, or he punched a girl, or he did this or did that. I don't condone that behavior at all, but when are we going to stop expecting athletes to be something they're not?
Didn't Charles Barkley say this long time ago, and everyone jumped all over his case for saying he's not a role model?
I'm
That's
not
my
your
job.
child's role model.
Correct. He's a basketball player. That's what he does. Floyd Mayweather's a boxer. Now, in Floyd's defense, though, I have read a couple stories where there's like some underprivileged children that play soccer or football and baseball, and he shows up with equipment for everyone to play. That's real cool. That's, kind of helping people get out of poverty and whatnot, but that doesn't justify your behavior.
It is, and it also doesn't mean that he's a good guy. He's got people that are paid to do his marketing and to do his advertising
Absolutely.
and to do his donating, and he gets a tax write-off for it. It's a whole business. When you're a professional athlete, your brand, you are your brand, and it's a whole business. So you can't be like, oh, he donated X amount to the children. Like, well,
maybe before he handed it out, he was like, God damn it, I don't want to do this stupid shit.
Why do I have to give them money?
But we hope not, and we hope it's authentic, I mean, but we'll never know. And that's the thing with Mayweather. He's such a mysterious guy, He's been in town for so many years, and
I've never seen him out and about in Vegas but people that I know that have always say he's got a posse with him and he's got a duffel bag full of $1 million cash.
The money team,
Yeah, the money team. I've never ran into him, but supposedly he kind of just mean mugs all the way around Vegas and does whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's I've seen him out quite a few times. He's pretty pompous, but I think you kind of have to be the champ,
Well, he gets paid more money than anybody as far as minutes. His labor rate is unbelievable. You know what I mean? 50,000 a second or whatever it was for that last fight. I don't know. It was a ridiculous amount of money, though.
So he fights Saturday night?
Saturday night, September 12th. Yep, that's it. That's his farewell speech.
What time is he? The main card usually comes on around like 9 o'clock at night,
Yep,
right?
the fight will be about 9.
Yeah.
Cool. And then we got football, like you said, UNLV football coming up.
Yep. For those of you who live here in town, if you want to go down there and have a really fun night out, watching our team get smoked by UCLA, we're 28-point underdog this weekend at the Silver Bowl.
You think they're going to cover?
I think we'll cover.
I think so too.
We'll give them a game. We played well last week. And
well, we're 1-for-1 covering.
Right? Exactly. I'm happy.
Yeah. 28 points is a lot of points, man.
We lost 38-30 at Northern Illinois to start the season.
And they're a good football team.
They're pretty good.
Yep,
Yeah,
they're
it's
a
a
good
long
football
road
team.
trip too.
Yep.
And that's why I love the coach. He says they were like, well, that's at least a moral victory, right? He said, absolutely not. I will not let that stand. I will not let that thought even enter my locker room. We should have gone down there and won the game. I expect to win. He said, winners don't say that was a good moral victory. Winners do not accept a loss.
Hats
no
off
matter
to
what.
him, man.
I love
That's
it.
awesome.
I love it.
That's great.
We have our friend Randy who's going to be turning 40 on Saturday as well.
Yeah.
We've got a little party planned for him, huh? A little special party.
absolutely.
Happy birthday, Randy.
Well, there's been rumorings that he has a niche or a fetish on little people or midgets.
Yeah, if you guys have any midget friends, give us a call. We're trying to find them. Any at all. 702-483-4444.
Vertically challenged.
Happy birthday, Randy. I hope you enjoy your weekend, man. It should be a lot of fun.
So, UNLV running Rebels.
Oh boy.
And they want to change the name. Harry Reid wants to come in and change the name now.
Senator Harry Reid is actually spending his valuable time on this thing. The Rebel logo has always been, and the brand is the Rebel, the running Rebels, and they want to change it.
To me, this is a huge slap in the face to Jerry Tarkanian and his legacy. That's what they were named after. It has nothing to do with the Confederacy whatsoever. It's not offensive. They were just the best basketball team under Tarkanian, and they ran all over everyone. That's how they got the name. The student council picked the name, and then good old dingy Harry just wants to, spout off at the lip from Washington.
He just wants attention.
He really
just wants
does.
attention. Like, it doesn't. What they think is it's Confederate.
They thought it was Confederate in nature, but the link that I read today was not the case, right, Matt?
Correct. Originally, when it was still a division of UNR, it was a wolf with a Confederate outfit on because they always called the rebels down south.
Right.
Then it evolved into a sun. Then it evolved into like a colonial Minuteman. And currently, it's like an 1800s traveler. He would help people get through the Spanish Trail here in Nevada. That's what the character is. Hey Reb. That's who he's actually made.
So currently, it has nothing to do with Confederate.
No, not
he's
at all
wrong.
whatsoever.
He's absolutely
yeah.
right.
He's not educated on what it actually represents at this time.
But I got some inside information. They're having big meetings at UNLV about this stuff and stuff. So it's really going to happen. They're going to push the campaign to try and change Reb. So tell your friends, get out there, get the word out, because I think it's ridiculous personally.
I think it would be a big mistake in regards to like merchandise and all that.
Just marketing alone, yeah. How are you going to slice your own throat? You know, I mean, geez.
It'd be a terrible choice.
Yeah, like when does it
Terrible.
become a point where, oh, you know what, the color red has become offensive to everybody, so we're not going to let anybody wear red anymore.
That's
Yeah,
a good
right?
point.
Come on, man. Everyone stop being so
Too
offended.
sensitive,
Go do
entirely
something
too
with their life.
sensitive.
Go do something positive, man. Do something that's newsworthy. I'm going to change the mascot.
Plus, he's a
you know.
senator, for heaven's
Right.
sakes. Go to
And he's
Capitol
washed
Hill
up.
and
He's
do
a
something.
has-been, man.
Right.
Like, this guy.
That's what we're paid for in
He's-
Washington, though. We need term limits. I'm telling you. He's been there for way too long.
He's kind of a failure in a lot of ways. I'm going to call him out. I was at an event where it was his reunion, and they wanted him to get up and say something. They're like, "Yeah, come on, just say a little something, a little something." He's like, "No, I won't." And they're like, "Come on." He said, "No, I refuse. No." And finally, he got up and walked out of the room. He was so disgusted that they wanted him to get up and just say something to the class. You know, you're a public figure.
Yep.
You know, get up and say something, for God's sakes. And it was a total embarrassing, silent moment. They're like, "Oh, hey, Harry Reid's going to say something." So we turn off the music and turn on the mic and just silence. You know, he's like,
So he's a pouty puss. Tell all your friends,
Big
Harry
time,
Reid's a
big
pouty
time.
puss.
"Yeah, I've had quite a few encounters with him, and not too impressed with the guy."
What is his age? He's got to be
120
creeping.
something.
Too old.
He looks
Yeah.
it. That's why he wants to change the mascot, because he looks like the mascot. He
Well,
looks like Hey Reb.
He's been in the Senate for like 35 years, right? I mean,
Yeah,
and he's accomplished nothing in that time. I mean, give me a break, Harry. Retire.
Yeah.
He's done after this year, though. I mean, that's the good news. The light at the
Yeah,
end of
that's
the
what he's
tunnel.
going to try.
retiring. Done
He's
deal.
going to try and get out
Official.
with something. He's going to take down Hey Reb on his way out.
Yeah, Hutch.
I mean,
I think Hutchins is running for his seat.
what's he want to change it to? A 51?
I was thinking the tumbleweeds.
to the Area 51s guy. He's 75, by the way. Engineering. Harry
you very
Reid is
much.
75 years old.
Thank you very
75.
much. So
Yeah,
his legacy is going to be like changing the Running Rebels.
Yeah, to the
name.
to the Area 51s. The baseball team already has the 51s, Harry. What in the world would you change it to? I don't.
Yeah,
Has he
couldn't
said
even-
that?
No, there's been absolutely no
Just
suggestion
change
of
it
any.
as long as
yeah.
it's not the Reb anymore.
It's almost as
Exactly.
ridiculous as trying to change Las Vegas' nickname from Sin City because it makes people do bad things. You know what I mean? That's the logic behind it is just ridiculous.
Right, and on that, that's what a lot of people don't understand about being in Vegas. We'll stop and talk again about living here in Vegas. It's not like it's every night gambling and every night hookers and every night on the strip and getting drunk all the time. I mean, for me, but for most people, it's not. Most people live a normal life. We have Walmarts and shopping centers and parks and schools, and a lot of people are like, well, how could you live in Vegas? I don't understand how you live in Vegas. And when I meet people on the strip that are from out of town, they're like, how could you live here? I'm like, same way you live where you're at.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
exact
And the
same
culture
vibe.
is being created as we go.
Avoid the strip as much as possible. Vegas
there-
Local 101.
There's so much to
Right.
do, and the people that are listening in different places around the country tonight, I want you to also know that when you come here, you know, get off the beaten path. You know, step off the strip. There's so much to do here in town that has absolutely nothing to do with gaming or any of the casinos for whatever. You know, and enjoy your time outside of just the what we call the hotel corridor, where all the hotels are. You know what I mean? Venture out a little bit. You'll have a way better time.
It truly is a melting pot of cultures here. There's
Absolutely.
so much to do.
We were just named number 2 campus in the country, most diverse.
Really?
That came out today.
Nice.
Yep, UNLV.
Wow.
Second most diverse university in the country.
We probably average the highest average age of student probably too.
Well, yeah, you know, because a lot of them get in the hotel business, and then they commute, as far as that goes, to and from school, and part time, and they have families, and they're full time employees, and trying to get through it and get their degree.
For sure, a different life.
Mhm.
Yeah, come check out everything that we have to offer. The Grand Canyon is close. You know,
Zion
Zion.
up in Utah,
Area 51.
Yeah, as I
Area
say,
51.
Head out to Mount Charleston and go see a big, empty, vacant spot of land that's causing a lot of controversy in there. What's the deal with that? They're trying to take this poor guy's land or what?
Oh,
out
it's
there?
a family, and they've actually owned the land. It's 400 acres. It's out near Area 51, which is a bombing test site for the military, for the Air Force. the government offered them $5.2 million. There's about 20 people that have a stake in this land, so it averages to about $260,000 each. But their family has owned this since Ulysses S. Grant was president, so 1885.
Wow.
Long time. They have a lot of labor and stuff vested there, and it's not just land; it's actually a mining claim. It's called the Groom Mine. From the years 1915 to 1956. They pulled out about $935,000 worth of minerals. And then somewhere in about 1954, the Air Force actually bombed their mill, allegedly. This is what the family claims, so that they can't produce anything anymore. So basically they have until tomorrow to take the $5.2 million or go get bent from eminent domain.
Wow.
They can just take their land, is what you're saying?
Correct. Well, they've already isolated them. It's like a little island of land, and the government owns
Okay.
everything else around it. And these people refuse to leave because they say in 1986 it was estimated for about $13 million with the mineral deposits and stuff that's there.
Okay.
And the government says no, it's worth about $1 million. That's what you've pulled out of the ground. You don't have an active mill. They're just going to take the land because of eminent domain. Because the Air Force is claiming it's a national security issue. I don't think so, really. These people are saying they've been there 60 years since Area 51 has existed, and they've never said anything about all the funky behavior that they see or anything. They've stayed silent. They just want the land. And the government's going to run them out tomorrow.
You know, if I were them, I would be like, okay, take my land and watch the stories that I let fly out of my mouth.
About Area 51.
True or not true. I'm going to go to the press about my furthest imagination.
So their family's been there since
1885, 130 years.
That's incredible.
Their family has owned it. Yeah.
So they want to stay.
They want to stay. They're like, our ancestors have lived here. This has been in our family for years and years and years. They don't want to leave whatsoever. But they also haven't hired even a lawyer to fight this whatsoever. They're basically...
And they're a day away from eviction, essentially?
Tomorrow, yeah. Tomorrow
Wow.
is the deadline.
And there's no recourse for them?
Not really. I don't think so. I mean, maybe the Clyde Bundy group will show up with their guns and their RVs and protect their
Stake it
land.
Throw down with some
Maybe.
deputies, and it's legal. This time it's legal.
Not much they're going to do against a drone, I don't think, but...
That
Wow.
is crazy.
It's quite a story.
So that all goes down tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, and they're mining lead and silver, a little bit of gold out of the mine. You know, that's what all the deposits are there, and some copper. But yeah, tomorrow they're packing up ship and taking over the land.
So the government gives you an offer, you don't take it, and then they're just going to bump you out anyway. That's just the way it goes. State claim to your land, and that doesn't hold up anymore. I guess it never did, really.
Not really. I mean,
mean,
eminent domain is always kind of a gray area.
Right.
I think
You think of the Indians when the railroads came through back in the day. They were out there living, doing their thing, and they had invested into their land.
The worst probably eminent domain would be Andrew Jackson with the Cherokee when he gave him Florida, and then he's like, oh, wait a second, you're going to go to Oklahoma now and walk the whole way. That's probably the worst case in American history, the Trail of Tears. But,
Psych.
yeah.
yeah,
Not.
exactly.
All right, well, let's take a break here coming up, and we will be right back with you. We're taking your calls at 702-483-4444. Let us know.
Hey, everybody, this is...
All right, we're back live on the American Mind Grind, taking your calls at 702-483-4444. Give us a call. Let us know what's on your mind, any of the topics we're talking about, or anything else you have in mind, or people, locals. I know you're out there listening in Las Vegas. Call us and give us a shout-out about your story here in Vegas. And we had a couple calls during the break, one from the Harry Reid camp saying that not only is he just going after the Rebels, but he's going after the Washington Redskins, and that he refuses to stop until he gets them to change their names. So I don't know. I just don't understand why. Like, why are you so offended that they're the Redskins?
I don't know why it's consuming him. That's for sure. It's like small peanuts to me.
He's just
Right.
overloaded with political correctness. He can't help it, and that's kind of the way that in the past 4 or 8 years, that's kind of the way that everything has shifted. I think it's like, oh, you can't say this because someone's feelings are going to get hurt. Do Native Americans really care that there's a football team called the Redskins? I don't think so.
I have a lot of Native American friends. I grew up in a place called Blackfoot, Idaho, which is the Fort Hall Indian Reservation, and never, not one time did anybody ever say, they need to change the name of this or change the name of that. And, Pocatello right there, they have a team, the Pocatello Indians, and nobody ever said anything ever.
Good point. What about the Cleveland Indians? Harry, add that to your
Right.
list, buddy.
Right. Like, it will never end.
I suspect that somehow he's getting pressured to be involved with this from somebody.
There's some
something.
motive. There's got to be some motive somewhere.
He's lobbying or something. Somebody's got money that's like, hey, man, let's get rid of the Running Rebels. I mean, I don't know. And it's up north, too, of course. In Reno, for those of you who don't know, we have a long-standing tradition of hatred between the school up north, which is also a Nevada university, the Reno University, and the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. It's kind of like red versus blue, good versus bad, so on and so forth. It's always been a thing,
It's a rival.
Yeah, it's the number one rival, for the university.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just a punk at UNLV. Well, maybe he's a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Well, he is a UNR alumni. He's a big UNR guy. He absolutely is. He's a Wolfpack guy, and
so maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's just trying to cause headache for UNLV.
I suspect there's something going on there.
Jeez, I think how can you not look at it on the other side and be like, hey, we're honoring them by keeping their name. The Indians or whatever. Like, it's not like you're out there making fun of them, saying, "Hey."
Right. It's not like it's a mockery whatsoever. You know what I mean?
Right. I can see if it was,
or it's negative in any way.
Right. It's
whatsoever.
not negative at all.
Yep. Hey, Reb just comes out on the court. He goes crazy. He dances, sings, goes crazy. Fun times.
Well, you got to think somebody's part crazy to sit there and look at it and be like, you know what? I'm offended by that.
Mm-hmm.
How could you not love that mustache, man? I mean, come on, Harry.
It's just cool.
It is.
It is very cool.
Well, I don't know. It's crazy. We'll keep following it for you and follow up on it when it all washes out. Hopefully he gets ignored, but it sounds like he's making waves.
Yeah, he's making a little headway, I think.
We also got an update for those of you listening live and heard the commercial on Jen. We got an update on her, Eric. We've raised some money for her, it turns out.
In the past 2 weeks, since we aired the show on the 26th, we have been able to raise $1,530 for Jen, and I couldn't be happier about that. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. 19 donations for $1,530. And for those of you who don't know, Jen's account is at GoFundMe.com, and you can easily find it. It's really simple. You go to GoFundMe.com, click in, and then go to Jen's Recovery Fund. And all the information about what she's been through and her story is there for your review. And donations start at $5. They go up to the moon as far as that goes. If you have money to spare and if you're touched by her story, please donate. And it's a really worthy cause. And what makes it really nice is that, she's the old friend of mine, and it makes me feel good that we're able to be in a position now where we can get the word out and get her exposure and get her some money that she really, really needs. And it's changing her life. It really is. Sounds like a little bit of money for some, I guess, that are out there. But $1,500 goes a very long way for her.
Well, when you count on it, when you depend on oxygen to breathe, and you have to pay for it, and
yep.
That the machine, if you've seen the picture of it, it's just to be held prisoner by that thing would be pretty tough. And then you can't create income, and you're worried about rent and bills and stuff. It is a lot of money.
Well, Medicaid pays for 10 of those portable units per month, and those portable units are good for roughly about 2 hours. So how would you have 20 hours worth of oxygen for the month? And how is she going to have a job? How's she going to go out there and secure work 40 hours a week? It's impossible. Those cans, by the way, for 2 hours of oxygen, they're roughly about $50 per can. So like I said, if you want to make a donation, she will be using this money very, very, very carefully, and it just helps her. It will help her get back on her feet, help her get her life back together, and I can't just say enough about how proud I am of us, of the station of Vegas AllNet Radio, who's just been totally supportive. The public service announcement, where we have efforts right now to get her in town for a philanthropy event with engineering right now with Mike, and we're trying very hard to increase her exposure and get her more and more money. So
it's a good example of how everyone coming together as one and just throwing in a little bit can really add up. So it's cool, and hopefully we can continue on the trend and helping her out. And I heard it earlier that it's just a good example to her sons and probably everybody out there that there still is good left in this world. We were laughing earlier, most of our stories are, about some guy beating up on some woman or some murder somewhere, and it's just like, we bring you the hard stuff to think about, but there is a lot of good in the world, and there's more good than bad.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it feels like the world's coming down on you, but there's still some old cowboys out there.
And I think people will focus on the negative and the people that are bad more than the people that are out there with good intention.
Right,
Absolutely.
it sells.
You know what I
Every
mean?
time you turn the news on, there's a new shooting or a new stabbing or something crazy, which is kind of, we can make light of that and play about it, but at the end of the day, we can at least bring it back home. For
That's
something
right.
That's useful.
You better believe that. Amen.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Crazy. Well, good. Well, that's good news. That's good to hear, and I'm glad that she's hanging in there and that we're able to help. And let's see, what else were we talking about? Changing the name, 51s, and UFOs, and McCarran Airport looked like a UFO had landed or something going on out there the other day. They what exactly happened out there? Plane got on fire or crashed or what?
Our airport, McCarran Airport, is currently the 9th busiest airport in America. And we had a real major screw-up malfunction yesterday. CNN, Fox, you name it, national news was all over McCarran International Airport yesterday. Basically, guys, it was a British Airways flight, Boeing 777. 777. Flight number was 2276, nonstop flight to London from Las Vegas. And what happened, essentially, is the left
Engine.
the left engine exploded, and there was a thick black smoke. And when they were going over 100 miles an hour ready to take off, Jeff, they had to pull out of the takeoff completely and bring the thing to a stop as it was burning and engulfed in flames.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a catastrophic engine failure, from what I understand, and 20 people were taken to the hospital with burns, but there was a total of 169 people on board, including passengers and crew.
Yep.
So it really is a miracle that only 20 people got hurt,
So you're
especially
saying
with that
early-
much fuel in the plane going from here
Yeah,
to
no
London.
kidding.
That could have been a disaster.
No fatalities, no major injuries. And what I was really impressed by, there's audio online. If you go online and look at the event, between the pilot and air traffic control, completely under composure, very well trained. You could tell that they've prepared for that moment, and they were able to execute a plan and save people's lives. And it was really cool, the whole thing, the way that the fire department was cooperating with the airport and getting emergency people out there. They were able to deploy the slide from the side of the plane. Everyone slid down carefully, and it's just amazing. It could have been way, way, way worse. Everyone could have died. If that thing gets airborne, it's a done deal.
And they were going 100 miles an hour, you said?
100 miles an hour, yeah.
At
the time that the engine exploded.
If you're looking out the window, you've got to start thinking, this is it. Here's where everyone talks about a plane crash and the odds of you being in that plane and blah, blah, blah. You got to be thinking,
I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. I am terrified of flying. I hate it. I get drunker than shit every time I get on an airplane, and I'm good to go. I'm like,
that was our field trip to Costa Rica.
Absolutely. Let's do the thing. So if I was on that plane, I would have literally crapped myself or peed something. I don't know, screaming like a girl. I would not have been a man's man whatsoever.
Throw that on top of the fire.
Yeah,
exactly.
You get somebody
Amen.
who's terrified of flying anyways, and they're looking out the window and it's on fire, and you're going 100 miles an hour.
I'd have lost it.
And so you're saying the nose came up?
No. That is going into what we're going to be talking about in a couple of minutes with Allegiant. That was a disaster. Allegiant's had a terrible history of.
I hear they have the best rates and the cheapest drinks, though.
That's why I fly Allegiant.
You go to Boise with Allegiant.
I go to
don't
Boise.
you?
It's $49.
Wow. Yeah. Well, they also use shitty aircrafts.
Tell him what he's paying for, Eric.
I'll break it down for you here. For those of you who don't know, Allegiant Airlines is also a Las Vegas-based company. They have had, from June the 6th to July the 6th, they actually had 3 emergency landings where they've had to abort flights. But you would suspect that what I'm referring to is nationally. That's not the case. They had 3 emergency landings in just St. Pete Clearwater International Airport in Florida, just one airport.
Wow.
Then, of course, starting from Las Vegas to Peoria, Illinois on August the 17th, they had a flight going out, and basically the left elevator boost actuator malfunctioned. And what that is the part of the airplane that controls altitude, going up and descending in altitude. So essentially, the crew of the aircraft had no control of the airplane whatsoever. Okay? And they're going down the runway, and they're trying to build enough speed to take off. And what happens is the nose of the airplane starts coming up prematurely. Okay, and basically, if they kept going at the rate they were going, the plane would have flipped over, and every single person would have been dead. But what the captain did, which was very hero-like, he figured out a way to cut power to the entire aircraft to bring the nose down, and he stopped at 138 miles an hour, and he was able to bring the thing to a complete stop and save every single person on board. But Allegiant is flying inferior aircrafts. They're basically used, discontinued products that they buy up and then they recondition and refurbish, and they give you $49 rates to Boise. So how you feel about that?
I think I'll pay the extra $25 and go on
Southwest Airlines, right?
Yeah.
Do you know if that pilot's name was Denzel by any chance?
Washington?
No way. From the movie. What's the name of that movie?
Flight.
That was a crazy movie.
Yeah, it was.
Kind of what they go through in the cockpit, and you got to be sharp. And
my whole question, though, don't they have like a pre-flight checklist or something? Isn't there a guy that is his job to be like, okay, this engine is running well, like we're good to fly?
I think there's a lot of people that's their job, but
no, they're the scrutiny that they're going under right now. I mean, their entire fleet of aircrafts are being totally looked at by the FAA, and their mechanics and their certifications and the pilots and everything's under scrutiny now. You know, I mean, the cat's out of the bag. You know, I mean, like,
hey, maybe supply and demand. Maybe I'll get a ride for $30 now.
You'll hop in there. Huh?
I'll be the only one there.
You take a parachute with you.
I don't. You know, the chances of you getting in we talked about this a long time ago. The odds of you getting in a plane crash. There's more people that die on donkey rides in the Grand Canyon than on plane crashes. It's just that it's big news when it hits. Something like this happens, and people like us jump on board and talk about it.
Right, but one airplane carrier having 6 incidents in the last 3 months. I mean, there's reason to be concerned. I mean, really.
How many deaths?
None.
That's what. I mean, that has to be. It has to come in the conversation somewhere.
Well. The worst part about this is I get my oil change at a place called Jiffy Lube here in town in Las Vegas. And my favorite mechanic's over there, his name is Cletus. Super nice guy. Cletus is a good guy. Sharp. Cletus. Yeah, he's a sharp guy. He's been changing my oil for years and stuff like that. So he comes up to me. I went in there last week to get my oil change. And he was like, hey, I got some really bad news for you, Mr. Roth. I'm like, well, what's up? You know, hit me with the bad before the good, you know. He's like, I'm leaving Jiffy Lube, man. Finally found a job. Bear green your pastures, you know. And I'm like, well, shoot me the good stuff, man. Tell me about your new gig, you know. Totally excited for you, man. He's like, well, this guy came in with a really fancy truck last week, and I did, you know, my little 15-minute lube change, you know, on him. And he tells me, he pulls me aside. He's like, Cletus, you did some really good work here, man. You seem like a pretty efficient guy. So, you know, I'm vice president of Allegiant Airlines, and I'd like to offer you some work. Have you ever been working on aircrafts or anything like that? And Cletus is like, no, I have no experience whatsoever in aircrafts or anything like that. And, you know, before you go ahead and offer me any work, I don't have even like a high school GED or anything like that. And I've got some DVs and stuff like that on my criminal record, you know what I mean? And I don't know if you have a pre-employment test, but, man, I got a really bad dope problem, too. I snort it, and I shoot it and everything. And the guy's like, it's all good, man. We got you covered. What we're going to do is we're going to train you on the job, you know, smash a couple aircrafts into oblivion, kill a whole bunch of innocent people, and then you'll be up to speed and you'll be part of the Allegiant family. So I lost my mechanic over this.
Lost your mechanic. What are they doing hiring this guy?
What, Jiffy Lube?
I don't want to take my car to Jiffy Lube either. Don't fly on Cletus Airlines, and don't let him change your oil either.
And do not ride in Eric's car.
So that's the real tragedy of all this.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Somebody's got to take responsibility of all this. Like, I don't know. I'm sure they're going to get slapped on the wrist pretty hard, and it might be the end of Allegiant Airlines. Who knows?
Yep. They're definitely going down a bad path, and I suspect that one day is going to be really something terrible that happens if they continue down this path. You know.
So what I got out of all that is it's time to book all of my $49 tickets from here until the end of the year, right now, before they go under.
Yeah. Ride while you can.
Double up, yeah.
Hope you're not the one plane that goes down out of the million.
I'm going to play the field there. I think I got pretty good statistics.
Yeah. It's a safer bet than a lot that the people put their money on. But did you guys see the new logo, by the way?
Yeah. Awesome.
New logo looks pretty cool.
Love it.
You guys like it?
Yeah, and all of you out there, hopefully you check out our page at American Mind Grind at the Facebook page, and it's up there. Thanks to Russ Ogilvie for doing all his work and the many definite edits that he did, and I think we're all happy with it now.
Absolutely.
You know,
Thank you, Russ.
thanks, Russ. We
Appreciate
appreciate
Russ.
your work, man. A big time on that.
And the logo, it looks cool now. The guy with the headache and his teeth and his nasty, and it's pretty cool logo. Not as nasty as Christy Mack's teeth were, though.
Good Lord.
Anybody know what happened to that story?
Jeez,
the beatdown.
Wow. Well, okay. Well,
War Machine, right?
War Machine. Is
Yeah, I
that,
think that's what he changed his legal name to.
So he's the War Machine is a wrestler, right?
No, he's an MMA fighter, UFC fighter. Yeah, he was on
that.
The Ultimate Fighter. You know, kind of backstory there. He was on The Ultimate Fighter. Did pretty well for The Ultimate Fighter, and then
he was an up and coming star.
he was. He
That's
really
the
was.
deal. Let's go back a second, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Kathy, you're on line one. Thanks for calling the Mind Grind.
Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Good. Glad to see you keeping it local, seeing what's going on in the Las Vegas area. I got a couple of comments. First of all, this whole eminent domain that you're talking about out near Area 51, they did the same thing to people who were living in their houses downtown when they were expanding things. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, it was a big deal. So it's something that we all need to think about. You think you own your property, and you think that you have all the rights over it, and you just really don't. They could just come in and say, "Hey, I'm going to give you $5.2 million. You don't like that? Now we're going to condemn the property, and we're going to take it from you." It's criminal, really it is.
And there's just nothing you can do about it, right? Because if there was, I think attorneys would be all over it, right?
Yeah, there's really not a whole lot that they can do, because especially when you're talking about the government saying it's for the in the name of national security, and who can argue with that?
Right.
Yeah. And regarding this British Airways, I have a personal connection with this, and I'll tell you, everything that I've heard is that the flight attendants and the crew on this airplane did everything exactly the way that they were trained to do it, and they saved lives because they did exactly what they were supposed to do. This could have been really, really tragic.
Yep.
And that leading up to allegiance issue, I'm just going to say, maybe you get what you pay for. If you got the lowest rates, you have maybe the lowest maintenance, you have the lowest care, the lowest concern, and they still charge you $25 to carry a bag on. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's a good point. Earlier, I was joking that it's the Walmart of airlines, and Eric jumped in and said, it's the 99-cent store of airlines. So,
all right.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And then just listen, one final comment. Really looking forward to going to Randy's 40th birthday party on Saturday. I don't personally know any midgets. I don't know any small people. I only know big people with small character, and I hope that that's okay.
That'll work. If you see anyone when you're out and about, throw them in the trunk.
Right on your way there, if you see one hitchhiking, stop
and we
him.
look forward to seeing you there. We'll have some fun this weekend,
You bet.
for sure.
Good luck, guys.
All right, thank you so
Thanks
much.
for listening, and thanks for calling, as always. So, a little insight there. I guess you don't get what you don't pay for, and we're gonna have to come back to that next show because there's a lot to talk about. We started talking about the UFC guy who had a domestic problem.
His trial is September 28th. Okay. And he is facing 34 felony counts, including 2 attempted murder counts against him. Okay, this was one of the worst domestic violence cases you'll ever see. So she's an adult film star. Okay, he's an MMA fighter. They break up. He breaks into the house with no key. She's found in bed with another man. He beats him and chokes him out over a 10-minute period, and then he says, "If you call the cops, I'm going to find you and I'm going to kill you." He sends him out, and the guy doesn't even call the Metropolitan Police Department, have a unit, to do a well check on the situation.
Like a movie where he's like, "Okay, I'll just go home and I won't do anything, I promise."
Right.
That really happens in real life.
Well, this guy, the attempted murder is a stretch, just because if he's an MMA fighter, he's a talented fighter. If he wanted to kill this girl, she's 100 pounds, 5'1", he would have been able to finish the job.
Yeah,
but
good
he
point.
tortured her in an awful way. He punched her multiple times. She lost consciousness, kicked her in the side of the body. He took a dull knife blade and cut her hair off. I mean, it was just unbelievable. But the story is, the reason why it's so touching for us is because Alex Lucinan, who's a friend of ours, a very good friend of ours actually, her brother Adam was just featured on HBO Sports for basically donating all the veneers and all the implant work to Christy Mack. And we just want to give him the utmost respect for being one of those people that just understood that somebody had to do something about it. And he went in, he's a very talented dentist. He did all of her work, and he donated all of the work to her.
And that's a lot of work. Anyone that's in the industry knows what detailed
tens of
goes
thousands of dollars of services over a 6-month period. And for his efforts, he actually there's a HBO Sports exclusive that actually interviews him that we'll probably play here very shortly for everyone who's listening.
Unbelievable. We'll keep on top of that story, and we'll follow it, and we're gonna find out exactly what his sentence ends up being, and we'll bring it to you here, ladies and gentlemen. Concludes another show. As we adjourn her this evening, we'll leave you with this beautiful song to help calm your nerves. As you fall asleep, think of all you've heard on tonight's program and try and relax. Let all your thoughts become one. Remember, your brain is a muscle and you must exercise it. Practice logical thinking, and for God's sakes, man, be kind to each other. Good night, and thank you for listening to the American Mind Grind.